from Southern Colorado's high-definition news leader, this is News Channel 13, where the news comes first.
Guns, drugs, and cash all found in a string of raids across Colorado. Details on the multi-agency crackdown on illegal marijuana grows.
Look at the left one. He is on the deck, below the bridge wing.
Russian jet and a U.S. Navy ship. What the Russians have to say about those actions.
Today, high fire danger is a big concern. Tomorrow, the big concern will be the potential for severe weather this weekend. Heavy snow heads our way. I am breaking down this very strong system moving in. Coming up with your Storm Tracker 13 forecast next.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for KRDO News Channel 13 at 4 o'clock. I'm Emily Allen in for Heather Scold.
And I'm Bart Bedsole. We continue monitoring a wildfire on Fort Carson this afternoon.
The Fountain Fire Department says it's burning on a training range on the south end of the post. Several crews are working together to put out this fire. The fire is less than 500 acres in size, and there are no structures at risk. However, if you do see a Chinook helicopter, they're going to be dropping water on that fire. And in Pueblo West, fire crews are monitoring a wildfire out there. The fire has burned 2 acres and is contained. Crews are out monitoring hot spots this hour.
Once again, a red flag warning in effect for most of southern Colorado this afternoon, including Pueblo West there.
And this means that fire danger is high, so make sure you use extra precaution. Now, this is a live look right now from Walsenburg. You can see that flag whipping back and forth, which means it is definitely windy out there. Storm Tracker 13 meteorologist Rachel Plath is tracking the warnings for today.
Yeah, the warnings are going to continue here through the remainder of the evening, and while we are tracking a few scattered showers up across the high country, I don't think we're going to see enough rain to help mitigate the fire danger this evening, so please be extra careful as you are spending time outside. Want to talk quickly about our winter storm that is heading our way this weekend. It has made landfall. It is spinning across the Pacific Northwest. It is going to quickly drop into Arizona by tomorrow and then move into New Mexico by Saturday. This is going to put it in a great position to bring us some badly needed water here in southern Colorado to hopefully help to mitigate the dry conditions we have across the state. But this storm system, it's bringing a lot of water, which is going to fall in the form of either heavy rain or heavy snow this weekend. Unfortunately, we don't have any of that out there right now, so red flag warnings stay in effect until 7 o'clock. So again, please be smart as you are spending time outside. Wind speeds today have been in the teens and 20s for most across the state. I expect the wind to begin to die down here as we head through the remainder of the evening. Temperatures, though, are going to stay quite mild. 60s and 70s through 7 o'clock, 50s and 60s by 10 o'clock. We'll have partly to mostly cloudy skies tonight, and then tomorrow, everything changes. We are going to be tracking winter storm warnings for the areas in red, winter weather advisories for the areas in white, winter storm watches. This does include the Palmer Divide in northern El Paso County. These will all start to go into effect Friday through Saturday as this storm system barrels into the state. I'll show you how much snow you'll end up with and when the worst of this storm is expected to arrive coming up a little later on in the newscast. Bart and Emily, back to you.
Sounds good, Rachel. Thanks. 8 hours later, still no decision. Members of the Parks and Rec Advisory Board in the Springs are hoping to decide the fate of the controversial land swap proposal between the city and the Broadmoor. The board met at 7:30 this morning to determine whether the idea should go to the city council for further consideration. City staff updated the process over the past 3 months. Then the board heard several hours of public comment from both sides.
We've had good feedback. We've had an ability to go and tweak our plans to ensure that we're listening to that feedback and reacting accordingly.
Because this is such a major swap, what we'd really like to see happen is everybody just go back to ground zero
on that property.
As of late afternoon, several people were still waiting to speak to the board. After that, members hope to have a brief discussion and then a final vote. We will let you know how it turns out.
Fountain police are looking to purchase a new body camera system because the current one takes officers too long to catalog and too many videos are slipping through the cracks. Body camera footage has proven to be extremely valuable in recent officer-involved shootings in southern Colorado. The Fountain Department says that the Fountain Department was among the first to equip officers with them, but the system doesn't allow the videos to be linked to specific cases or incidents. So thousands of videos were never reviewed, and some, which could have been used in criminal cases, were deleted because they were older than 6 months.
There's a multitude of videos that over that 180-day period that were deleted from the system. and are no longer available to view.
Lieutenant Tommy Coates doesn't believe that the loss of that video prevented the prosecution in any cases. However, he says Fountain PD is looking to purchase cameras that are similar to the ones currently being used by Pueblo Police and the El Paso County Sheriff's deputies. Meanwhile, Colorado Springs Police are still looking for input in its body camera program. You have until tomorrow to comment or ask any questions about body cameras through the city's website. Police say not many people have participated so far. You can find a link to that survey on our website. Head over to KRDO.com. A teenager was killed while test driving a go-kart in Monument. The Colorado Springs Gazette reports a 17-year-old boy traveled from Denver to buy the go-kart Tuesday night. He was hit by a pickup truck and pronounced dead at the scene. Authorities have not released his name or any other information about that incident. And if you have noticed more police near the area of I-25 in Fillmore, you're either one of the lucky ones or you got a ticket. Colorado Springs police say that officers are cracking down on people driving through construction zones. The speed limit through the area is 55 miles per hour. Yesterday alone, 45 people got speeding tickets. Remember to slow down because those citation fines double when you get caught speeding in a construction zone.
Money from the new 2C Streets tax will go toward paving major streets in Colorado Springs over the next few weeks. And the city also found some extra money for a few side streets. Some of that money will go to the old farm neighborhood east of Austin Bluffs and Barnes. The city hopes to get workers out there sometime this summer.
It's one of those things, we understand that there's a lot of neighborhoods out there that need this help, and as much as we can in the coming years with these other funding sources, we're going to try to get into these neighborhoods.
Well, I think they should focus evenly because a lot of the people aren't always driving on main roads. A lot of the back roads are being driven just to get home, you know?
Curb and gutter concrete work continues right now in advance of the upcoming paving on major streets. Looking ahead to tonight, the city of Manitou Springs will hold a public meeting to talk about the next phase of Manitou Avenue improvements. That meeting just got underway at City Hall. It continues until 6:30. City leaders there are talking about the project schedule and design concepts for the next phase of improvements. That phase will entail street beautification and drainage improvements.
The largest and most complex water treatment plant for the Southern Delivery System has a brand new name. A naming ceremony welcomed in that new plant. It's called the Edward W. Bailey Water Treatment Plant. Ed Bailey's career with the Colorado Springs Utilities helped lay the foundation for SDS and ensure that people of Colorado Springs have a supply of clean water for decades. This morning, Bailey, Springs Utilities, and other city officials talked about the importance of supplying the springs with water.
People are the reason that this plant got built to begin with, so we just have to recognize people and know that they're the equation. And this plant is going to provide water for Colorado Springs well into the future.
The $125 million facility is expected to be built incredibly under budget.
Japanese police are concerned that people may be trapped underneath homes after an earthquake hit southern Japan today. That quake, which had a magnitude of 6.4, knocked over houses and started fires. Video from Kumamoto shows fires breaking out across residential areas. So far, though, there are no reports of anyone killed and no risk of a tsunami.
A U.S. Navy ship is experiencing a dangerous close encounter with Russian jets at sea. ABC's Bazi Kanadi has more from Washington.
It was a scene reminiscent of the Cold War.
Look at the left one. He is on the deck, below the bridge wing.
Russian fighter jets flying dangerously close to the Navy destroyer, the USS Donald Cook, as it navigated international waters in the Baltic Sea. The Russian Sukhoi Su-24 planes passing just 30 feet away from the ship again and again.
Over the bow, right turn, over the bow.
Flying at low altitude, even causing a giant wake.
It's wholly unsafe. There's no reason to be that low. There's no room for error, and there's lots of room for disaster.
According to a statement by the U.S. European Command, the U.S. Navy captain judged the Russian action unsafe and unprofessional, but he took no action beyond trying unsuccessfully to communicate with the aircraft by radio. The White House says there have been repeated incidents like this in recent years, raising serious safety concerns.
This incident is entirely inconsistent with the professional norms of militaries operating in proximity to each other in international waters and international airspace.
The Russian Defense Ministry responded today, saying the U.S. ship was only about 44 miles from a Russian naval base, and once the pilots detected the destroyer, they diverted from it with all safety precautions. Bazi Kanani, ABC News, Washington.
Chili lovers, get excited. The sweet smell of Pueblo chilies will soon be in the air again.
Also ahead, our state's national parks are celebrating a major milestone, and the party includes you. That story coming up.
We've been focusing a lot of energy on trying to figure out how much snow is going to arrive, but before we even get the snow, we could have severe weather to contend with tomorrow afternoon with tornadoes possible across the plains. This system is bringing a little bit of everything, and I am going to do my best to break it down for you coming up right after the break. We have a very strong storm system moving our way, unfortunately, just in time for the weekend. Tomorrow, the big story across the plains will be the potential for severe weather. We could see large hail, and we cannot rule out tornadoes. Saturday, that will be the day where we'll see the heaviest rain and the heaviest snow. Saturday looking to be one of the worst days with this system moving overhead. Sunday, we're going to keep the rain and snow around, but it should at least be a bit lighter than what we're expecting on Saturday. The big question is, how much snow are we going to get? Before I show you your snow tracker, this comes with a bit of a disclaimer. This is from Friday night into your Monday. So for that entire period of time, this is how much snow we could end up with. I do think, however, the bulk of this accumulation will fall throughout the day on Saturday. Snow Tracker is showing there is the potential for 12 to 24 inches at this point for pockets along the Palmer Divide. Most along the Palmer Divide, though, getting about 8 to 15 inches. That goes for Teller County as well, but around Teller County cannot rule out a few pockets where we get 1 to 2 feet. Colorado Springs proper, 3 to 7 inches of snow will be possible, 1 to 3 for southeastern corners of El Paso County. Keep in mind as well, there will be some initial melting, which means what actually falls out of the sky and what you're able to measure in your front yard could potentially be two completely different numbers. Snow Tracker also showing about a trace to 2 inches around Pueblo, 12 to 18 for the Wets and Sangres, 2 to 6 inches of snow for the southern I-25 corridor. Out across the plains, I don't expect much in the way of accumulation because out across the plains, I expect to see more rain than anything else. If you are spending the weekend in the high country, ski conditions should be pretty nice. 6 to 18 inches of snow for some of the ski resorts, with northern portions of the Front Range also under the gun for about 1 to 2 and even up to 3 feet in some cases. Skycast showing that starting off tomorrow morning, we'll see a mixture of clouds and sun across southern Colorado. Snow will begin ramping up across the high country, and we'll see the clouds thickening up around the Pikes Peak region by lunchtime. Taking you into tomorrow afternoon, we'll start to see showers and thunderstorms popping up around the Denver area and out across the plains. Watch these storms across the plains in particular. As they move off toward the east, they're going to intensify. That's going to be one of the bands of severe weather that we could potentially be dealing with tomorrow afternoon, so we'll have to keep a very close eye on that. Heading into late tomorrow evening, could see a few strong thunderstorms also along the Palmer Divide. This is a look at 7 o'clock. Beyond 7 o'clock, we'll start to see colder air moving in. That's going to allow that rain to snow transition by late tomorrow evening around the Pikes Peak region first. Then overnight tomorrow night and into your Saturday morning, I expect to see the showers expand in coverage and intensity. Very heavy snow between Colorado Springs and Denver by 6 o'clock Saturday morning. And we'll keep these showers going all the way through the day on Saturday. Notice rain across the plains, but snow for most along the I-25 corridor up near Denver. Again, Saturday looking to be the day where I expect to see some of the heaviest snow and the heaviest rain. To keep you ahead of the storm, we're not only going to be tracking it all weekend long, but we're also tracking it on your smartphone. Be sure to download Storm Tracker 13 weather app on your iPhone and your Android. Just one more way we're keeping you ahead of the storm. Checking out your 7-day forecast, temperatures this weekend are going to be much colder. We're only getting into the upper 30s Saturday, Sunday. 40s are back Monday. Our storm system moves out of here, and by Wednesday, Thursday, temperatures are expected to get back into the 60s. In Pueblo tomorrow, 70 degrees, 49 on Saturday, 48 on Sunday. Looks to be primarily a rain event around Pueblo with drier weather as we take you into your Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Canyon City, 67 degrees tomorrow, mid-40s for Canyon City Saturday into Sunday. Could see a few snowflakes mixed in through the weekend around Fremont County, but more than anything, we'll see rain for the Canyon City and Fremont County area. Teller County, a different story, as I mentioned. Not out of the question to see more than a foot of snow for some. I think that'll be pretty easy to do considering how much water the system is bringing along with it. Saturday travel is expected to be impacted. I've had several people ask me about their flights on Saturday. It could be a difficult go, not only to get to the airport, but I have a feeling with the amount of snow and the amount of showers and even thunderstorms that we're expecting to see this weekend, probably looking at delays.
Local airport or Denver airport?
Both.
Okay.
So keep your eye on your flight status. Check it before you leave the house, because I don't want to say that there will be cancellations, but it's very possible that there could be. And so I want you to be aware of that and plan accordingly.
Good call.
Well, and a helpful site for that, too, can be DIA.com, because last time I had issues with my flight during the last storm. So if you check there, it's really helpful. So definitely keep that in mind if you're traveling.
You don't want to get stuck up there.
No, not at all.
All right, Rachel, thanks for the update. Well, the National Park Service is celebrating its 100th birthday by offering free admission for a week. The deal includes Colorado's 4 national parks, as well as its national monuments. It's part of National Park Week, which runs Saturday through the 24th. Many parks will also offer a variety of special activities just for the celebration.
Pueblo chili lovers, you can soon get your hands, well, you can't get your hands on them quite yet, but you'll be able to smell them soon. Now, Pueblo farmers are already planting them. The chilies are a big part of the Pueblo community. The Chili Fest is set for September 23rd through the 25th. The chamber president says they're part of more than a $40 billion agricultural industry in Pueblo County. He says they are very proud of the hard work that goes into growing those chilies, and the farmers do all that work.
This is kind of our icon, you know. I mean, that's with the Chili Festival, and everybody associates Pueblo chili with us, of course. And
Milberger Farms started planting the seeds yesterday. They are one of the first farms to plant the chilies.
Hopefully the weather holds up for those chilies. It's that time again. In a few days, you'll need to file your taxes, and that means it's prime time for scammers. Coming up, tips on how to keep your money safe.
And hundreds of people around the country are marching through the streets. A look at the rally for a minimum wage increase. time is ticking for taxpayers and crooks. The IRS warns scammers are working double time to get your personal information before the deadline is up. The IRS says that these are the most common tactics scammers are using this season. Criminals are soliciting W-2 information from payroll and human resource professionals, attempting to verify tax return information over the phone, and pretending to be a tax prep professional. The IRS wants consumers to know its employees will never ask for credit card and debit card information over the phone. They'll never demand payments over the phone, and they won't ask for alternative forms of payment like prepaid debit cards. The IRS will also never send law enforcement to your home if you don't pay. For more tips, head over to the KRDO.com. Now, the tax deadline is Monday.
Workers took to the streets in New York and Atlanta today, pushing for an increase in the minimum wage.
What do we want? 15. What do we want it? Now. What do we want? 15. What do we want it? Now.
Dozens of demonstrators joined in, calling for all employers to pay staffers at least $15 an hour. New York's governor has already signed a wage increase into law, raising the minimum wage to $11 at the end of this year and another $2 each year until it hits $15 at the end of 2018.
Travelers in California and New York can score free round-trip flights, but they're going to have to act fast. JetBlue is choosing 500 people from those states who have never flown on one of their planes. The promotion comes after the airline's failed attempt to acquire Virgin America last week. It lost the bid to Alaska Airlines. Winners will be able to fly between New York, San Francisco, Long Beach, Los Angeles, or Las Vegas.
Up next, a Major League Baseball player who retired early caught a lot of flack from his fellow athletes, and now he's coming out with the real truth as to why he's throwing in the glove.
And they're known for being standouts in the field, but now those star athletes are outstanding in a new field.
John Bolin, son of Broncos owner Pat Bolin, was found guilty today in an Arapahoe County court. Bolin was charged with the harassment of his girlfriend. It happened in June of last year when he shoved her against a wall. Bolin was sentenced to 24 months probation. Broncos linebacker Von Miller is having a celebratory offseason after the team won its third championship in February, and he was named Super Bowl 50 MVP.
And he definitely isn't letting the Carolina Panthers quarterback Cam Newton forget about the Broncos' 24-10 win. Newton posted a photo on Instagram of him playing water polo at the USA Water Polo facility with the caption, "Let's just say you wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of this throw."
And Von Miller had some fun photoshopping the picture, commenting, quote, "Ha ha ha, water polo sack." Is there anything he doesn't do? Well, for the first time ever, Sports Illustrated is revealing its 50 most fashionable athletes list, and a Colorado superstar made the cut. Athletes and fashion icons came together to celebrate the release of the issue. Topping the list was the New York Giants' Victor Cruz. And continuing his great years, Super Bowl champ and Dancing with the Stars standout Von Miller, also on the most stylish list. He talked about his time on Dancing with the Stars while at the party.
It's a switch-up week. Now, I just found out that Lindsay's going to be my partner. They've been at the top of the leaderboards, and I'm trying to get up there too, so to get a partner like Whitney is great. I mean, to get a partner like Lindsay.
LeBron James and Serena Williams also made that list.
Former baseball player Adam LaRoche is speaking out for the first time about leaving the sport after the Chicago White Sox asked him not to bring his son to work every day. And he's revealing something else behind that decision. Here's ABC's Eva Pilgrim with the story.
His exit from baseball garnered national headlines.
I also applaud Adam LaRoche.
Adam LaRoche surprised his team. White Sox first baseman Adam LaRoche choosing to retire early after he was told not to bring his 14-year-old son, Drake, with him to the clubhouse every day.
He's either been a spoiled ball player who wanted to have his kid in the workplace, or he's been this sort of paragon of virtue for parenthood, being this great father. There is more to it than the simple narrative, which is that he quit because his son couldn't be in the clubhouse.
The first baseman going deep in a new interview with ESPN magazine, for the first time talking about the backlash against his decision to quit. "I never took it for granted," he says. 1, I get to play a game. 2, I get paid an absurd amount of money to play a game. 3, I can have my son with me while I'm doing it, and I always knew it could get shut down at any point. But his decision may have been influenced by a trip he and longtime friend, Brewers pitcher Blaine Boyer, took last November, going undercover to the red light districts of Southeast Asia with the nonprofit Exodus Road, trying to rescue underage sex slaves. LaRoche saying, "I was sick. I was thinking about my kids and then thinking about the hundreds of thousands of parents who are searching for their 12-year-old daughters. What are we doing? We're going back to play a game for the next 8 months." He walked away from the experience, putting even more value on family.
He feels that there is something out there for him. There are people that can learn from what his decision was.
LaRoche has no regrets. "Honestly, baseball is not that important to me. I love it. It's a passion, but I think every one of us is put here for a bigger purpose."
And that was ABC's Eva Pilgrim with the story. Exodus Road is based here in Colorado Springs. They are a nonprofit organization that fights against human trafficking. Now, a massive drug raid is underway all across the state. Watch as law enforcement take over homes to take away illegal marijuana grows.
Also ahead, pack your bags, Southern Colorado. We are going to Vegas. How you can catch an extra cheap flight to Sin City.
And the Democratic presidential candidates are preparing for their big debate tonight. A preview of the next showdown in the race for the White House.
If you have anywhere to be this evening, Mother Nature is not going to impact your travel plans. Instead, great conditions expected around Southern Colorado as most are ending up dry. Tomorrow, though, a much different story.